Fallout 76 has recently released, and despite the strong hype cycle leading up to its launch, its reception since then has been lukewarm at best. The game represents a strong deviation from previous Fallout entries in terms of gameplay experience, between 76's multiplayer-centralizing design philosophy and the single-player-focused storytelling of the previous games. Though a spinoff, Bethesda clearly had high expectations for the game, and it's rather unfortunate to see Fallout 76 land as it has within the gaming world. Bethesda can certainly release a Fallout 5 or another Fallout game that can recoup any lost fan goodwill or brand cachet from Fallout 76, but that would first require taking a look at what went wrong with Fallout 76. This isn't to say that Fallout 76 represents in itself a dangerous turning point for the company and Fallout, but it's better for Bethesda to address their execution of Fallout 76 and perhaps frame some future strategies from Fallout in terms of decisions to avoid from other companies such as EA. So, in this video, we ask, Bethesda, please don't be like EA. The awkward implementation of multiplayer as a centralizing gameplay experience has arguably hampered some of what is great about the Fallout series. What Bethesda did here is that they made Fallout 76 into an MMO-like game, but without any interactable human NPCs and a comparatively smaller limit per gameplay session, only barely embracing some of its strengths of being an MMO. But instead the world of Fallout 76 is full of people who are either dead or your would-be multiplayer compatriots. Telling a story through exploration or through left-behind audio logs definitely reinforces the sense of isolation and post-apocalyptic dread that the Fallout series is built on. But when there is no one else to help build the world besides in-game characters who no longer exist, and other player characters who only know or are as capable of affecting and understanding the world as you are, it's a serious immersion breaker. It could be said that the latter poses the most serious problem to the world building, because the individual experience is not built into the script of the world of Fallout 76. The idea of trying to tell a rich story based on a variable number of player experiences just doesn't work. Your fellow players could be anywhere from immensely invested in following Fallout 76's history to one of the many trolls that populate other multiplayer games. Your vision and experience may clash with others that you play with, and even within Bethesda's own vision. The other problem is that while Bethesda chose a narrative guide for players, this type of storytelling experience doesn't allow for much interaction between players and the environment. It minimizes player agency and creates a feeling of repetition that can make quests feel like a slog. What impact are players really having on the world around them? This is not an issue present to the same degree when it comes to the single-player Fallout games. Framing storytelling in this way, it's not hard to see the argument in support of a single-player-driven or individual-based storytelling system, as it has consistently worked for the Fallout franchise. It's not that a robust world can't be portrayed in an MMO type of game, it's just that Fallout 76 easily negates player immersion. Atmosphere and lore, both per individual title and in terms of a broader mythos, have always been key to Fallout. There is some hope in Fallout 76 with one key element that might suggest divergence between EA and Bethesda, and that lies in its plans for future content updates for Fallout 76. While all DLC will be free and Bethesda already has ambitious plans for content, these future updates are planned to be funded through purely cosmetic microtransactions. Bethesda has openly stated their plans on avoiding a pay-to-win game structure, a widely criticized design idea in games when it comes to DLC. Basically, pay-to-win, when it is applied to DLC, suggests that there are noticeably strong or more conveniently accessible gameplay options, such as weapons or armor, that are obtained simply through using real-world currency. Such items might be available in-game or not, but the point is that paying for these DLC pieces presents an unwarranted preferable player choice that does not reward a merit-based system of player engagement, wherein hard work is rewarded. It also means that because such DLC is better in terms of increasing one's own strength or likelihood of winning, it can be easier to convince players to pay for them in order to increase their chance of winning with comparatively limited effort, hence pay to win. It adds up to an exploitative paradigm of taking money from consumers. It also has to be said that Fallout 76, by accounts from Bethesda staffers, is meant to have a long lifespan. But with the initial reports of poorer than expected sales, will the DLC funding that Bethesda is counting on be enough to satisfy the company? Will the amount of DLC sold determine the type of content released for Fallout 76? Are the DLC choices meaningful enough to warrant investment from players? Ultimately, the issues with Fallout 76 are not so much with lack of content. As just one reference point, the map of Fallout 76 is 4 times the size of Fallout 4, but instead are more fundamental to the gameplay experience. Since this game is being positioned as an important and supported Fallout title despite still being a spin-off, what does this suggest for the future 5th Fallout game? Does the commercial performance of Fallout 5 serve as an indicator of whether or not the franchise itself will continue? Does the commercial performance of Fallout 76 serve as an indicator of the franchise's future? Perhaps the most worrisome thing about Fallout 76 is the degree to which Bethesda will be incorporating player criticism of the game in future update strategies. The company was quick to release a major patch soon after the game's release, addressing some bugs and quality of life issues. Additionally, releasing games with bugs that need to be addressed post-launch is another EA hallmark trait that we hope not to see in future Fallout games. It's worth noting that EA has been routinely criticized for not listening to fans, and to be fair, worrying of this sort is a pessimistic stance to take on Fallout and Bethesda. But with the starkly different and unexpected focus that Fallout 76 took in comparison to the numbered games thus far, it's still not clear what Fallout 5 will look like, and when it will release, since the near-term plan is to support Fallout 76. Hopefully this video has explained our concerns about Fallout 76 and why we're worried about what may happen to both the Fallout franchise and perhaps with Bethesda in general. Ultimately, as a franchise with a storied history, deep lore, and a vast fan base, the success of the Fallout franchise is an outcome desired by many. There are still stories that could be told, and it's not as if Bethesda doesn't have the talent and resources to support Fallout into something amazing. It all comes down to essential matters of decision-making that will best enable Fallout to succeed. There is nothing to say that a Fallout game different from the numbered titles couldn't have been embraced by the gaming public. After all, various franchises have made forays into other gaming genres or vastly different types of game experiences compared to their earliest releases. It's just that Fallout 76, in addition to its content strategy, long-term need for patches, and buggy release, doesn't seem to play into any of the franchise's existing strengths, and doesn't make good use of any new ideas. We hope for better execution of future Fallout games, and it could very well be the case that Fallout 76 can be transformed into a game with much better fan reception than what it currently enjoys. If you have any ideas for what that might entail, be sure to let us know in the comments section below, and do your best to make your opinions known to Bethesda. As always, thanks for watching. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.